this is something else.
It's awesome. It's amazing. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
What if I told you that behind the fearless smile of Misty Raney, the star of Homestead Rescue, lies a story of heartbreak that most fans never knew? On screen, she's the woman who builds plants and saves families ready to give up. But off-screen, she's faced criticism, personal battles, and even painful tragedies tied to the very show that made her famous. From the rugged wilds of Alaska to the bright lights of reality TV, Misty's journey hasn't been as easy as it looks. In today's video, we're uncovering the truth, the struggles, the secrets, and the strength of one of reality TV's toughest women. Misty Raney was born on November 9, 1979, in Sitka, Alaska, into the legendary Raney family. Her father, Marty Raney, is a respected survival expert. From a young age, Misty and her siblings, Matt, Miles, and Melanie, were raised far from city life. While other children were learning to ride bikes, Misty was learning to butcher meat, haul water, and farm in brutal Alaskan winters. This upbringing wasn't glamorous. The Raneys lived off the land, taking everything they needed from nature: food, water, wood, and shelter. Misty grew up learning the family's log and stone building trade, farming, hunting, and even surfing when life brought her to warmer shores. This foundation would later make her a perfect fit for Homestead Rescue, a show where survival isn't just a theme, but a lifestyle. When the Discovery Channel launched Homestead Rescue in 2016, the idea was simple: bring in a family of survival experts to help struggling homesteaders across America. Marty was the backbone, Matt was the hunter and builder, and Misty, she became the heart of the show. Her specialty was farming and food security. Misty wasn't just showing people how to plant vegetables. She was teaching families how to make their land truly sustainable, how to raise livestock, preserve food, and turn barren soil into life. Fans connected with her deeply. She wasn't just strong, she was empathetic. When families broke down in tears, Misty was the one comforting them, reminding them that they could push through. She wasn't preaching from above, she was meeting them where they were. It's this compassion, combined with her tireless work ethic, that turned Misty Raney into a fan favorite across Homestead Rescue's 13 seasons and multiple spin-offs. But while audiences admired her strength and positivity, what they didn't realize was that behind the scenes, Misty herself was carrying heavy burdens, personal battles that became even harder to fight once the cameras started rolling. On screen, Misty Raney looked unshakable. She appeared confident, steady, and ready to take on any challenge the wilderness threw her way. But off-screen, she dealt with struggles that many women can relate to. One of the most openly discussed challenges Misty has faced is her body image. Growing up in rugged Alaska, appearances didn't matter. What truly counted was survival, the ability to build, to hunt, to farm, and to endure the extreme climate. But television has a way of changing things. Suddenly, thousands of viewers weren't just admiring Misty's skills, they were scrutinizing her body. Between seasons 1 and 3 of Homestead Rescue, fans noticed that Misty's weight fluctuated. Online discussions quickly turned into rumors. Some speculated that she was pregnant, while others suggested she was struggling with health problems. Misty later admitted that these comments hurt. Like many women, she had insecurities. But unlike most, hers were magnified on national television, broadcast to millions of people who felt free to judge her appearance. Instead of hiding from the criticism, Misty Raney responded with honesty. She explained that living off the land requires fuel. The body naturally adapts to the intense demands of farming, building, and survival work. Sometimes that meant gaining weight, other times losing it. She reminded fans that her worth wasn't defined by a number on a scale. What truly mattered was the families she helped and the love she gave her own. But the challenges didn't stop with body image. Misty also struggled with the demands of reality TV itself. Filming meant long, grueling days in harsh conditions and weeks spent away from her husband, Makaya Bado, and their son, Gage. For a woman who treasures family as deeply as Misty does, that separation was heartbreaking. Yet, despite it all, she continued to show up, strong, compassionate, and ready to give her best. Even the homesteading lifestyle itself, with its harsh winters, endless work, and unpredictable challenges, weighed heavily on Misty Raney. She has openly admitted that at times, the grind left her physically exhausted and emotionally drained. Yet instead of hiding these struggles, Misty chose to share them with her fans. This vulnerability made her even more inspiring than her strength ever could. She wasn't pretending that life off the grid was easy or glamorous. She was showing the truth. Survival demands sacrifice, effort, and resilience. Away from the cameras, Misty has built a life that reflects both her adventurous spirit and her love of simplicity. In 2000, she married Micaiah Bado, a skilled carpenter and surfer who shares her passion for the outdoors. Together, they built an 800-square-foot cabin in Alaska, tucked away in the same rugged environment where Misty was raised. The couple also owns property in Hawaii, where they escaped the long Alaskan winters. In April 2011, their son Gage was born, bringing a new chapter of joy and responsibility into their lives. Splitting time between the wilds of Alaska and the warm shores of Hawaii, Misty and Micaiah created a balance few others get to experience, living between the extremes of snow-capped peaks and sunlit waves. But despite her adventurous life, Misty has always been protective of her privacy. On social media, she shares only small glimpses of her family, never oversharing or seeking attention. That balance between being a recognizable TV personality and a private wife and mother has made her even more fascinating to fans. At its heart, Homestead Rescue is more than a survival show. It's about second chances. Families who are ready to give up are shown a path forward, guided by the Raneys' experience and determination. And that part is very real. However, like many reality shows, questions about authenticity have lingered. When the Discovery Channel first pitched the series, the Raney family was clear. They would only participate if the show avoided heavy scripting. They wanted it to be as authentic as possible. Each episode captured them arriving at a homestead, spending about 10 days on site, and tackling projects they could realistically complete. But as the show grew in popularity, not everyone believed it was 100% real. Some critics, and even former participants, questioned whether certain scenes were exaggerated for drama. Despite the skepticism, the Raneys have stood firm, maintaining that their work, their struggles, and their results were genuine. In 2018, a Virginia couple, Josh and Kim Zabek, who appeared in Season 1, filed a lawsuit against Discovery Channel and the production company. They claimed they were misrepresented. According to them, producers portrayed them as desperate and incompetent, despite the fact that they were already experienced homesteaders with a successful farm. The couple argued that scenes were exaggerated or fabricated for drama. They even alleged that dead chickens shown in the episode weren't theirs. The court eventually dismissed the case for lack of evidence, but the controversy sparked debate about just how real reality TV really is. And they weren't the only ones. Other families who appeared on the show also raised concerns that storylines were manipulated to fit a dramatic narrative. While none of these lawsuits damaged the Raney family's reputation directly, they highlighted the thin line between authentic reality and television entertainment. Despite lawsuits and criticism, Homestead Rescue has thrived. Why? Because at the heart of the show, there's something raw and relatable. Every episode carries tension. Will the greenhouse survive a storm? Will the water system work? Will the animals make it through the winter? And then there's the payoff. Families standing proudly on land that finally feels like home. For many viewers, the show represents freedom, the dream of independence from modern chaos. But it also doesn't sugarcoat the reality. Homesteading is hard. It demands everything. And that honesty keeps fans loyal through it all. The criticism, the separation from family, the lawsuits tied to the show, Misty Raney has stood tall. But more importantly, she's shown that strength doesn't mean never struggling. Strength means admitting you're human. It means getting back up, even when you're exhausted. It means standing in front of millions of viewers and saying, "I'm not perfect, but I'm still here." That's why fans love Misty. Not just because she can grow food in impossible conditions, or build a farm from scratch, but because she's real. She struggles just like us. And she keeps going, just like we hope we can. So, is Misty Raney's life tragic, or is it inspiring? In truth, it's both. Behind her strength lies a woman who has faced criticism, exhaustion, and heartbreak, yet never stopped teaching, guiding, and fighting for families chasing the dream of independence. And that's the real lesson of Homestead Rescue. It isn't just about cabins, gardens, or survival skills. It's about resilience, about finding the courage to move forward even when life feels impossible. What do you think? Is Misty one of the toughest women on television, or one of the most vulnerable? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.